Good morning, I'm Mesdeline, and I'm bringing you an oracle a day just because I'm hoping to give you some inspiration, just to bring some positive energy into the world right now. And today's card is amazing. Pandora's gift. Look at that. That is just such beautiful artwork, and that mask that she's holding, wow. And see all the symbols, and that reminds me of something. Hold on. I just have to share this with you. I found this on a beach in Scotland. It just, I was walking along the beach and I just heard something calling to me, and there was this stone and it wanted to go home with me. And it looks like it has symbols on it of some sort. And like ancient symbols or something. I don't know. All I know is it's just magical. Back to the card. Pandora's gift. There's a mythic woman much maligned throughout history whose name means all gifted. Pandora lives within us as our curious nature, yearning to conquer chaos, evil, and darkness with the light of knowledge. She is the hopeful voice of our soul that asks the questions, and in doing so triggers the process that brings the answers. Sometimes it is through uncomfortable learning that we find our treasure. Sometimes you just have to step out of the box, that box of your comfort zone. Pandora reminds us that the process of learning can take us to places that seem like the end of the world, and yet all is not lost. Even now, the light within you is stirring for new revelation, new life, and new adventure. Pandora is all gifted and all giving. Her presence invites you to forego your belief in judgment. Now is the time to surrender the misplaced guilt that you may have brought upon yourself or another, some terrible happening. That didn't make sense. Now is the time to surrender the misplaced guilt that may have brought upon yourself or another some terrible happening. Oh, I get it now. It is time to let go of the shame-based belief in punishment. This is a belief that you deserve to be brought to task over any perceived imperfection, or that your natural human journey somehow renders you inadequate. I hope you heard that. Pandora frees the soul from such torment. This is her gift. The human journey necessarily involves learning through experience. There is no shame in your learning process. Pandora's presence is in the sign of a new time, a time to swap the notion of inherent shame for the acceptance of inherent divinity. I love that. It's time to swap the notion of inherent shame for the acceptance of inherent divinity. From this moment on, how unstoppable you shall become. Sacred rebellion is happening within your soul as a powerful uprising towards liberation. You are breaking free from the weighty criticisms of the world, from the power games that bore you senseless, and from the insanity of sacrilegious priorities in this world. Dare to disobey anything and everything that is not divine. Pandora is the leader of your soul revolution. She defies the vicious judgments of history and all that has been said about her. She shrugs off misery, despair, and the weight of the world to recognize that she is the bearer of the true and beautiful light of peace, comfort, hope, and reassurance. With her oracle comes the realization that you too are a divinely defiant believer in hope, who shall cast off the works of anyone who seeks to torment you. As this shift takes place, you shall dare to look within your own being and find the light. You are being put on divine notice from the sacred feminine that there is a talent and ability within you that needs to be acknowledged. There is a worthy seed of something beautiful and necessary within you. If you choose to develop and express this seed step by step, it will become an extraordinary light in your life. Excuse me. And in the world. So poke your tongue out at the naysayers and turn your attention to the bright hope within. You are born to strut your soul stuff. I love that. So I think that this might be the most powerful card I've drawn so far. And the reason I say that is because it's about dropping that shame, dropping that guilt, embracing that you are the divine, that we all have the divine within us, and in however you want to translate that. It's a spiritual concept, not a religious concept. And so what I want to say about this is that it just, all of a sudden, all this stuff just started coming to me as I was reading that, just eons of conditioning that especially women have received, but some men too. And how we carry the shame within us of something that happened to us. And that shame doesn't belong to us. Or we might feel guilty. Okay, for instance, a great example is a woman is raped. She feels guilty for wearing whatever she wore, or for being somewhere where, the attack happened or whatever. She feels ashamed of the violation of her body. And that's conditioning. And so what I've seen happen with that, and it doesn't matter if it's, it's a traumatic event that, it might be child abuse or some other thing, right? And then we keep that inside and try and keep it hidden, that guilt, if only we were smarter or better or whatever, that wouldn't have happened to us. So we're guilty of something. The shame that happened to us. We don't want anybody to know that horrible thing happened to us. And so it stays inside and it festers, and but it's constantly there. It's constantly leaking out into our life, that shame, and it colors everything. It takes away from who we really are, who we were really meant to be in this life. And so, I worked with someone one time that they also were a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, and they were so angry, and the anger ruled their life completely. And they could be triggered in an instant. And I tried to explain to them how the same thing happened to me, but if I allowed that to fester inside of me and to stay there, and it was controlling me. I was giving that perpetrator power over me, and I tried to explain that concept to them, and that if you do that, you're allowing either the perp or the event or whatever it is to have power over you. That's in the past, right? The past doesn't have power over us anymore because it's gone, done. We're in the present now. So we can choose, our reality in this present and how we react to things. And so this card is a reminder that, it's okay to let go of that shame and that guilt, especially that shame. It's not our shame to carry. Think about it. Someone attacks you, they should be ashamed. Someone does something terrible, they should be ashamed. If you've done something terrible, you should be ashamed. But don't hold on to it. Whether it came from the outside or the inside, you don't need to hold on to it. We all make mistakes. We all walk down that dark alley without thinking, or whatever it is, right? All of us make mistakes. We're human. That's humanity. And we all have emotions, but we can choose to either let that emotion stay inside of us and control us in some way. Sometimes it's really subtle, sometimes it's really obvious. Or we can choose to let that emotion just kind of flow through, and easier said than done, I know. And so if there is some part of you that needs to be released or flowed out of you, ask for help if you need it. For me, I did ask for help. I also read a lot of books and did self-help exercises. Like one of them is, when you look in the mirror, smile at yourself. And that's a hard one at first. Now I do it. It's just like, I love myself, right? But you can do this. You can overcome this. You can let go of that shame. And the more the shame, so just figure out, your heart only has so much space, although I think there's infinite space for love. But still, if there's anger, shame, guilt, or whatever inside of your heart and your gut, that takes up room that could be filled with divine light and love. So it's important to allow yourself to understand that you are a divine light in the world. There is nobody in this world like you. Out of billions of people, you are the only person like you, the only one. And this world needs you. And you are loved. And you can be free. And by free, I'm talking about free from pain, free from the past, and ready to just celebrate you in how you are meant to be. Just that perfect divine spark of light that brings something into the world that no one else can bring. You are a gift. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the world and sharing your light. And I hope that you choose to let go of that shame or guilt if you're carrying that, and so that your light can shine more brightly. Blessings, many, many, many blessings and love to you. Namaste.